Hello, my name is Wes Jones and welcome to my fantasy mapping channel. Today we're going to look at how to draw mountains. A very common technique is to draw them all connected via a ridge line. What I mean by that is you'll have a line something like this, and that actually becomes the ridge or the crest of the mountains. And I'll show you how I go about doing this. So let's start again, and let's just take a zigzaggy line. Making a line simple at first, just so you can see how this works. What's happening here is all these points become the tops of the mountain. What I do first is I find some of those mountains that have the biggest gap between them, and I establish what that mountain looks like on the other side from that peak. And I go down all the way, and sometimes I have to adjust, I have to make them longer or shorter, it really depends. And this one will be kind of hidden there. I don't necessarily do all of them on the one side first, but sometimes I do. So like that I'll pull down. And then you have to look in this side what you're going to do in this side of the mountain. Sometimes I pull it down. So even though I had that ridge line there, I thought, well, this mountain looks like it is a little bit more in front of that one, and I might pull it that way. Might do the same here. You can add a little bit more detail on some of those. Again, you're just trying to find all those peaks and make sure you've got them all. Okay, that would be my first step. Now, you have to decide what side the light's coming from. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say the light's coming from this side. So, because it's coming from this side, I'm going to focus a lot more of my pen strokes on the other side of the mountain to create the shadows. I'm going to do the shadows entirely with pen work this time. One thing I don't like doing is, you see how we got the peak here? I don't like having four lines connecting to it. What I find that does is it makes it look too much like a pyramid. It just doesn't look right. You can establish some other breaking points or slopes from different spots. You can see how if I continued it, it doesn't look right. Because I stopped a distance away, it looks not too bad. Pull those down. Further you pull them and the more you slant them, see how if I go like this, that's going to look like that mountain flattens out a fair amount. We'll just have those stop pretty abruptly for this demonstration. You can do a few things, vary the line widths if you want. This one, because I haven't varied any of the other line widths, I won't do that. But you can vary the strokes as well. Just try to stay somewhat consistent. These lines, you can see they're pretty solid. They've got a little bit of jaggedness and they break up a little bit. Just finish these ones off here. Now, it's important to make sure you have lines on the other side too, because it is a mountain. There's a lot that goes on in mountains. There's a lot of caves often, or cracks in the walls. Now, because I said the sun came from this side, I think that's all I'm going to do on that side of the mountain, and I'm going to do another series of lines just to help the mountains look like they do have a sunny side and a dark side. I can go a little bit quicker with these because these are sort of those in-between detail lines. Pull those in here, do a little bit down there. And depending on how you want that dark side to look, you can add more lines again. But I think for the purposes of this video, you kind of get the idea. You can see how just with line work, I've made this mountain range, and all I did was I start with a zigzaggy line. It's actually one of my favorite techniques to do mountains. I don't put it in all my maps. In fact, I use it for very specific maps. Often the maps are a little bit more regional. I'll have these type of mountains, but it's a great technique. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, learning how to draw mountains along a ridge or crest line. You can check out my website. I have a website on fantasy mapping if you want to learn more. And I also have a book on how to draw fantasy maps. Well, I can't wait to see your mountain ranges on your map. Thank you, and goodbye.